Hello, everyone, and welcome to our webinar today on child passenger safety, presented by High Country Doulas. My name is Allison Rollins, and I am one of the owners of High Country Doulas. At our agency, one of our main focuses is to deliver content information to parents who have questions about things either during pregnancy, about labor and birth, or in that first year and beyond. Today's webinar is both for expecting parents as well as parents who have questions about those transitions that their babies will make to different types of car seats and different positions in car seats, as well as talking about the different transportation. So if you're riding on a train or a bus or a plane, we also want you to have the information that you need and the resources that you can find, the updated information on car seat safety and child passenger safety. So welcome again. We are so excited that you decided to watch this live or view it in the recording on our YouTube channel. We know that keeping your child safe is your #1 priority, and we welcome comments. So don't hesitate to speak up. Let's go ahead and get started. Protecting your child's safety really begins with protecting the person carrying the child. This means that those who are pregnant should take care of how they buckle up. So if you're pregnant and you're concerned about how the strap fits on your body, there's important things to note that will keep you as safe as possible in case you are involved in an accident. So sometimes being pregnant and wearing a seatbelt can be extremely uncomfortable, and you may not know exactly how to wear the seatbelt as your body grows and changes. So we're going to review some tips and guidelines that help you with that. When buckling yourself in, be sure that the shoulder strap is away from your neck, but not off your shoulder. That same kind of crossbody belt should be free of any slack and travel between your breast and down, way down to the clip at your hip. So do not place the shoulder belt ever behind you or behind your arm. You need to be able to make sure that it lays across your body. The lap belt should be secure below your belly, not across it, so that it fits snugly across your hips and your pelvic bone. Just like anytime you're driving, be sure that your seat is comfortable. In an upright position, you'll be able to reach the steering wheel and the pedals easily. Additionally, keeping as much distance sort of between your belly and the steering wheel as possible. Avoid letting your belly touch the steering wheel, and if you need additional room, consider adjusting the steering wheel or having someone else drive if possible. If you're a passenger, move your seat back as far as possible, but avoid reclining your seat more than necessary. The goal really is to minimize the space between your shoulder and the seat belt. So pulling your seat as far back as possible can also allow the airbags, if they're deployed, to cushion you rather than impact your body. Driving with an infant in the car can be a really stressful experience, but the proper knowledge and precautions can help you feel more kind of at ease with that new baby in the back seat. How confident would you feel buckling a baby into the car? On a scale of 1 to 10, How confident do you feel about that? You may have already been buckling your baby in your car seat and now you're feeling confident. But remember those first couple of days that you had to travel with baby home from the hospital to the first pediatric visits. Those are very stressful. And I remember personally the first time I ever drove by myself with a baby, I felt so at a loss for feeling in control and not being able to see my baby. So those kind of things are definitely something that we have to kind of move past. But if we feel more confident about how our baby's buckled in and positioned in our car seat, it gives us a lot of confidence. Right. So let's talk about finding that right car seat. So we're going to share a couple of wonderful resources that we feel like are really wonderful online resources where you can go to and be confident that you're getting the right information. So we'll be sharing that in the information as we post this on our YouTube channel. So definitely note a lot of the information that we get. We will all let you know where that comes from. All right, so finding the right car seat. There's lots of different car seats out there, right? There's an infant-only safety seat, a convertible car seats, combination car seats, 3-in-1 car seats, rear-facing only car seats, car beds for children with medical needs or premature babies, forward-facing car seats only, backless boosters, booster seats or belt positioning booster, and a high back booster. So when you're looking for car seats, you may, depending on how often you drive, where you're driving to, what size your car is, you may want to choose a seat that is just starting out, an infant car seat, and do that in the rear facing car seat position in the middle of the back seat to start with. And then once your child grows out of that weight-wise and height-wise, then you can transition to a different type of car seat that might last your child a longer time. We're going to talk a little bit more about the recommendations of age and rear facing versus forward facing versus booster seat versus seat belt, and share a little bit more about that. But if you are ever in doubt, we do always recommend that you find a trained car seat technician, and we'll give you the link to be able to find those. In the areas that we lived, oftentimes those are firefighters at fire departments or rescue squad that are adequately trained to be able to help you install your car seat and show you how you can install your car seat safely. So those are really important things, and really just set our minds at ease when we're worried about, like, did I install this right? Is my baby going to be safe in this? So lots of great resources there. You can also ask a trusted parent who is experienced with this to help check on that if you're not able to find somebody who is trained. So definitely we're going to send you a bunch of links to websites where you can search for a trained car seat technician in your area as well. So the Safe Kids Coalition does have some wonderful resources that are listed on their website. We really find them to be very, very helpful. But state to state, different states have different child passenger safety laws, so it's good to know what those are in your state as well. A lot of times in communities, there will be sort of inspection stations so that you, during different events, you can go there and get more information. And a good car seat can make the difference really between life and death, so don't skimp on that research. Okay, We're going to go through just a couple of different options here as far as transportation that does not involve cars. And then we'll dig back into different car seats and safety. So for all parents and caretakers who don't own a car or rely solely on public transportation like taxis, ride shares, Ubers, those kind of things, here's what you should and shouldn't do while transporting a child in a vehicle that is not yours. You never want to put your baby in your lap and buckle the seat on top of both of you. This can be extremely dangerous. Why? The equation to determine the restraint force is speed times weight. If you weigh 200 pounds and you're going 10 miles an hour, your seatbelt must take 2,000 pounds of force to restrain you and hold you back from moving forward if there's a crash. If there's a child on your lap between you and the seatbelt, then they would be absorbing all 2,000 pounds of that force. Really important not to buckle your child in with you or a child. So if you're riding in a taxi or other car service and you can't put them on your lap, so what do? If you're absolutely must travel in a car without a car seat, you should put the child in a seat next to you and buckle them up. This is not necessarily the safest option, but is safer than riding in a lap. Ideally, you want your child to be in a restraining system so they're getting optimal protection. And seatbelts does not achieve that. A seatbelt would achieve better than nothing. So we want to make sure that the seatbelt is working properly. If it needs to have contact really with the strongest points on the body, so those are the hips and the shoulders. If you put a regular seat belt on a child who is much smaller, the straps won't hit the right body parts. But again, it is better than a lap. An alternative option is to find a travel vest. A travel vest is a portable restraint for children 3 years and older and works by manipulating the regular car seat belt to work properly for a much smaller person. So what about buses? Fun fact, your child is statistically safer riding to school in a big yellow school bus than in your own car. These big yellow buses are really designed to protect school-age kids and up in a frontal crash without the need for seatbelts, using compartmentalization, which refers to the close proximity to the high padded seats. When it comes to public city buses, you're also pretty safe, safer than you would be in a car. Buses are large and highly visible. They also move slower than cars and don't travel on the highway. When a bus is involved, don't travel at high speeds typically. When a bus is involved in a crash, its larger size absorbs most of the force, thus protecting the passengers. Additionally, people riding in the bus are sitting higher up from the street. This means that the force will hit around the legs and feet instead of the head or chest. You can use a car seat on a public bus because you can't use a car seat on a public bus because there's usually no way to secure it. Instead, hold your baby tightly or use a front pack carrier and be sure that you're in a secured seat. So long distance buses and tour buses are a different story because they do travel at a high speed and use highways. Fortunately, these buses are getting safer, and some buses have seat belts and lower latch anchors to help secure a car seat. Before booking your ticket, find out what bus companies offer for seat belts and anchors and plan accordingly. Trains, like public buses, don't have seat belts or lower latch anchors. This is because they're safer than cars and less likely to be involved in a crash. The only reason you'll need a child safety seat is if you'll require it when you leave the train, like getting on a taxi or a relative's vehicle. Child passenger research safety has come a long way since our parents' and grandparents' generation. Here are some of the things that we know for sure. Rear-facing car seats typically hold children 5 to 40 pounds and should be used for up to 2 years or as long as possible until that child has outgrown the height and weight limit of that car seat. So it's important to read your car's manual for installation instructions and the car seat manual to be sure that you are following the weight and height limits, following the installation recommendations for that particular car seat, and knowing when you should adjust the car seat, as well as changing out any extra padding or removing any padding according to the baby's or the child's size. So a couple of things to note that you will learn more about if you visit some of our website links that we're going to share. Latch. So latch in a lot of cars these days is an anchoring system that your car will have. It stands for lower anchors and tethers for children. And this is a more secure way to install a car seat and car seat bases for your child. So another important development in car seats. Also know about the harness. Chest clip, which you can see in the picture here, should be at the same level as your child's armpits, okay? The level of that should be secure, and to make sure that you have the harness, this is a 5-point harness that you can see here, to make sure that that is properly secured, you want to give it the pinch test. So above the harness chest clip, you should pinch the straps, and if you're able to pinch it, you know that that car seat is not tight enough. So you will tighten the car seat and then again check it to be sure. Oftentimes that is one of the #1 mistakes that parents do make, is not tightening the harness straps tight enough for the child to be secured. If your child has a car seat with those inserts that we were talking about, extra additional padding that's in there, be sure and read the manufacturer recommendations on when to remove that. Oftentimes parents forget about those and keep their baby in those longer than they should be. So according to safekids.org, rear-facing car seats, we talked about any types of car seats that are rear-facing, the shoulder strap should come through the car seat slots and at or just below the child's shoulders. So they should come out of the car seat and then come up and over your child's shoulders or right at their shoulders. Once a child is in a forward-facing seat, the shoulder strap should be at or just above the shoulders. So those are two important things to note that you can also learn more about those through safekids.org. SafeKids also recommends that you take a picture of your child's car seat label. This label is going to include the date of manufacturer, the make, the model, the weight and height recommendations, and installation instructions, and more. So those are really important. Sometimes those can fade over time or with spills and all kinds of things. So you really a great idea there to be able to have that in your phone saved somewhere that you can always access. Another important aspect of securing your child is to make sure that in the wintertime that they do not wear their bulky winter coats in their car seats. These types of winter coats are slick often, and they have a lot of extra air in them, and they don't allow for a proper fit for your child. So always remove their winter bulky coats prior to buckling them in. A 5-point harness, which is shown here in this picture, should be used from the time they outgrow. They should be used from the time as far along as you can get them, according to that particular car seat safety. Once your child is over a certain height and weight, they will be transitioned into using the car seat lap belt into a booster style. But again, the point is that the 5-point harness is safer if the car seat is adequate for your child's height and weight. Booster seats allow for that seat belt to lay in the right position. Those usually are going to go through at least through 8 years of age or until they've outgrown it. And then children younger than 13 should never should always ride in the back seat of vehicles and never in the front seats. One of the things that you can check is your car manual, and the weight and height for that front seat passenger can be really helpful to make sure that you are not putting your child in risk. So we want to know all that great information about the how-tos and the what-ifs. But one of the most important pieces of car seat safety can really be setting a good example. We want to keep our children safe, and we want to make sure that we are modeling for them. So you being able to always wear your seatbelt and always check to be sure everybody else is wearing their seatbelt before you start the car is a really important way to practice good safety. You know that if you've got your seatbelt on, then you're saying checking in with everybody else. If you've buckled your kid in, you already know that they're good. But once your child gets older, they may start wanting to complain, because children are children. They want to move, they want to do all these things. But be sure to set a family rule that this is not negotiable. And once they learn that, then they don't complain about it. But if you start wavering on it, you will hear more and more resistance to it. Right. So ideally, kids would really just love would love to wear seatbelts and gladly crawl into their car seat. So again, just reinforcing that the best advice is to provide your child with a context and acknowledge their feelings, because they're feeling trapped and they want to move around. Sometimes they're tired and they don't want to settle down, and that's all normal. You can say to them, I know you're not happy about this, but we're doing this to keep you safe. Let's talk about this once we get to where we're going. By shifting the dynamic and validating their frustrations, you've given them a little bit of power in a situation where a lot of kids feel really powerless. Once kids reach a certain age, they'll want to start doing things themselves. Take advantage of this. Encourage your child to climb into their car seat on their own. Now, I know from raising 3 children that this takes more time, right? So your kid is going to be much slower than doing this than it would when you do it for them. But as in anything with parenting, in the end, it's going to be positive, because that kid's going to feel encouraged, going to feel empowered. They're going to feel that they have new skills, and they're going to be happier, and they will learn to do it faster and faster. So getting them to learn how to climb in their car seat on their own, and then having them help you or showing them how to do those is really helpful, because they feel very excited about that. You can also offer stickers, treats, or rewards for helping out and a job well done. So just reinforcing that and their cooperation with that is a wonderful way to make that go more smoothly. Once your child is safely buckled in, be aware of what's within arm's reach. Hard-covered books, hard plastic toys, metal containers, or cups can become dangerous projectiles in case of a collision. So opt for those soft plush toys, paperback books, soft, lightweight types of objects are a much better choice for in the car safety. Did you know that car seats have an expiration date? So if you're using a seat that belongs to an older child, check when it expires and replace the seat if it's past due. Typical life of an average of a car seat ranges from about 6 to 10 years. Replace any car seat that has been involved in a collision and check with the manufacturer to see about replacing a seat if any part of it becomes torn or damaged. For car seat safety recalls, you can check with safekids.org to see if a car seat has been recalled. If you buy a new car seat, you want to register it so that if it is recalled, you will be notified about that. So cars with airbags are considered safer than cars without airbags, unless you are under the age of 13. A child who weighs less than 65 pounds should not sit in the front seat of the car because airbags are not designed to protect someone who is lightweight. When a child is hit by an airbag, they're likely to be lifted off the seat and might hit their head on the car's ceiling or dome light. Infants in rear-facing car seats should definitely not ride in the front seat because their heads are closest to the dashboard and thus that airbag. Perhaps a back seat is taken up by younger children, or you're riding in a vehicle like a truck that doesn't have a back seat. In this case, move the child's seat back as far as it can go and buckle up. Similar to pregnant women, be sure that your child is sitting on their bottom with their backs all the way against the back seat. A fully inflated bag cushions passengers while the bag is still moving. Fully inflated bag cushions passengers, while a bag that is still moving will jolt them. In crashes, children are propelled forward and get hit by airbags that are not fully inflated. By having your child sit as far back as possible, you'll give the bag a fraction of a second longer to inflate before your child would potentially hit it, thus protecting them a bit more. So some cars are designed with a weight sensor so that if the passenger in the passenger seat is not weigh enough, the airbag turns off. Some cars also have a way to turn off the airbag for smaller people that aren't able to. And a lot of times trucks that don't have back seats may have this option. So definitely read your car manual or the car manual of whoever cars you're in to find that out. The law mandates that everything in an airplane cabin should be battened down during takeoff and landing and turbulence. That is everything except children young enough to ride on their parents' lap. Why? Because studies have shown that if families are forced to buy an extra airplane ticket for their baby, many families would opt to drive instead, a mode of travel that's statistically far more dangerous. More than likely, if your child is under 24 months, they're safe to ride on your lap, and it's totally legal for them to do so. Unexpected turbulence can send carry-on luggage flying across the cabin, so your child on your lap won't be in the safest position either. Plus, in a crash, your child could be crushed against your body. So to ensure maximum safety, you can bring along a car seat for kids under 40 pounds. For kids under 20 pounds, use a rear-facing car seat. And for kids between 20 and 40 pounds, use a forward-facing car seat. Some airlines offer discounts for children, and there's also a chance that there will be an empty seat on the flight that you can use. You can call that airline and find out about those policies. Before you bring your car seat onto a plane, be sure that it's FAA approved. The label should read, "This restraint is certified for use in motor vehicles and aircraft." Flight attendants are instructed to look at this label, and you may run into problems if it's missing. To fit in a typical coach style seat, a car seat should be no wider than 16 inches. Double check with your airlines before traveling. If you'll want to book a window seat that isn't blocking the escape path in an emergency. You may not put a car seat in an aisle or exit row. So I wanted to share how we put together this webinar for you. The resources that we use were from safekids.org, the CDC government motor vehicle safety pages, and the NCS.org road safety, as well as babycenter.com, NCBI, NLM, NIH.gov, and SafeRideForKids.com, the car seat lady, and standardchildrens.org. So definitely we will post these when we post and have this information linked to our YouTube webinar. Again, thank you so much for attending today's webinar on child passenger safety. We hope you've gotten a lot out of it. Please make any comments or share any resources that you may have that you think would be helpful for other parents. Again, I'm Allison Rollins, and I am the owner of High Country Doulas. If you have any questions, feel free to give us a call at 828-278-8949 or email us at info@highcountrydoulas.com. Thank you again.